Today, we are breaking down a really fiery opinion piece from a local source called Shasta Unfiltered. It's all about this huge legal battle brewing up in Shasta County, California. And really, it boils down to one heck of a question. Can one single anonymous lawsuit just stop more than 10,000 citizens from even voting on an initiative that they lawfully put on the ballot?
All right, so to really unpack this, we're going to walk through the author's argument step by step. First, we'll look at the initial showdown. Then, we'll get into their explosive claim of what they call tyranny by lawsuit. After that, we'll check out the, honestly, surprising historical case they build, see what the measure actually proposes, and then wrap up with their incredibly passionate final plea.
Okay, let's jump right into the core of the conflict. You've got a ballot initiative, it's been fully certified, it's got thousands and thousands of supporters, and then, bam, at the 11th hour, a legal challenge pops up that seems designed to just kill it before it can even get to the voters. And right off the bat, the author wants to make one thing crystal clear: the sheer level of public support here. I mean, we're not talking about some fringe group. We're talking about 10,110 citizens, way more than was even required, who put their names on a petition to get Measure B on the ballot. And here is how the author frames the entire fight. For them, this isn't some polite legal debate. Oh no, they paint this as a dramatic, almost cinematic standoff. On one side, you have the public, declared will of over 10,000 citizens, and on the other, a single, solitary plaintiff hiding behind the anonymous shield of Jane Doe. So what does the author think this lawsuit is really all about? Well, this is where they drop the gloves and lay out their central and very, very provocative thesis. And they do not mince words, not at all. They call it tyranny by lawsuit. For them, this isn't about some minor legal detail. They see it as a raw, naked attempt by one person in the shadows to use the court system to completely nullify the will of thousands, to effectively gag the voters before they can even get to the ballot box. And then the piece zooms way out. The author takes this local fight in one California county and connects it to a centuries-long, even ancient, tradition of citizens pushing back against what they see as government overreach. It's fascinating. The author literally draws a straight line through history to make their case. They start all the way back in 1215 with a Magna Carta, which they argue first established the right to resist an overreaching king. Then they jump to the Declaration of Independence as proof of the people's right to change their government. And they land on the U.S. Constitution itself, which, as they point out, starts with the three most important words: we the people. And this is where they really hammer the point home, by quoting the Declaration of Independence directly. The argument here is that the people of Shasta County aren't just filing a petition. No, they're exercising a foundational American right, the right to alter a government that they believe has stopped serving its purpose. Okay, so after all that epic history, you're probably wondering, what is Measure B actually about? What specific changes are these 10,000 people fighting for? Let's get into the nuts and bolts. Well, according to the article, the measure has 4 key parts, which the author describes as a restoration of old-school common-sense election rules. It would require a voter ID for all voting. It would mandate that all ballots be hand-counted right there at the local precinct. It would create clean, locally controlled voter rules that are kept offline. And finally, it would bring back one-day in-person voting, with only very limited exceptions for absentee ballots. So how does this all end? Well, the opinion piece concludes with this powerful, almost desperate plea, framing this one local lawsuit as something with huge, potentially nationwide implications. I mean, listen to that. The author's final argument is that the stakes could not possibly be higher. They're saying if a court allows one anonymous person to simply erase the lawful petition of 10,000 Americans, then the entire principle of we the people is basically dead. It gets replaced by a new, chilling phrase: we the permitted. So what's the solution? In the end, the author's demand is brutally simple. Don't use the courts to stop democracy before it happens. Let the people vote. Let the scheduled election on June 2nd go forward. And then, if there's a legal fight to be had about whether it conflicts with state law, have that fight after the people have spoken. And that's really what this whole thing leaves us with. This deep dive into one very passionate opinion piece really forces a massive question to the surface. The author is adamant this isn't just about voter ID in one county. It's about a fundamental clash in our system of government. When the people of a local community, through a lawful process, demand one thing and the state government demands another, whose voice is supposed to win?